It actually lets you customize the interface's layouts, which is really cool. So for example, say you wanted the scene window to be a bit larger, you can simply hold down the left mouse button on this edge here and drag, and doing so will get the scene view shrinking or expanding. And you can obviously left click and drag pretty much every single edge to scale up or down your various windows. You can also left click on the name of each window and drag it around to place it somewhere else entirely. So say I wanted my scene view to be on the right side of the screen and my game view to be on the left. Well, I can just left click my scene panel and drag it to the left. And then I can left click on my game view and dock that to the right. And there we go, it's as easy as that. Unity also comes with several pre-made layouts which you can easily switch between. Just head up here to Layout, and then choose one from this list, such as the 2x3 layout, or 4 splits, and so on. And you can also save layouts, so if you come up with one that works really well for you, just click Save Layout, give it a name, and there we go. You'll be able to load up that layout again whenever you like. Now of course, do whatever you like with your layouts. For now, since you hardly know anything about Unity, just leave it in this default state like I am. You can always change it around afterwards. With that said, what is the Unity editor made up of? Well, first things first, and probably the place you'll be spending the most time in is the scene window. It's here that you'll animate your game characters, move, rotate, scale and place objects, create levels and so much more. This is basically your workspace. It's the behind the scenes area, whereas the game window shows you exactly how your game will look when built and run on someone else's computer, phone or console for example. In the scene view you'll see loads of little icons and a grid that won't appear in the game view. So yeah, in short, this is your working space, and this is where you'll see the finished results. Note that you can hit Shift plus space while hovering over a particular window to expand it to cover up the whole screen. If that doesn't work, make sure to left click somewhere on the window first. Okay, next up we have the project window. Down here you'll find your game's files, so your PNG files with your game character sprite sheets, your game's various animations, materials, textures and scripts. All those things will be grouped together right here. So obviously the larger your project, the more stuff you'll find here, which is why it's very important to keep this area nice and clean by grouping your files into different folders. To create a folder, simply right click and go to Create Folder. For example, I'll call this one Animations, and from now on, to stay organized and clean, I'll add all of my game's animations to this folder. Doing so will save me a lot of time in the long run. And of course, you can create as many folders as you like. You'll see here a list of all your folders, and of course you can create more folders within a folder. To do so, I'll double click on my animations folder, for example, to open it up. That'll make a new one called Player. This way, we're even more organized and clean, by grouping all of the animations specific to the player character inside of this player folder. And you'll see right here that hierarchy, with the player folder under the animations one. Note that anything inside the project window can be left clicked on and dragged from folder to folder. So say that for some reason I wanted this sprites folder to be moved inside of the animations one, I could do so very easily by holding down the left mouse button over the sprites folder and dragging it inside of the animations one. Okay, now that we've taken a look at the scene, game and project windows, let's move on to the hierarchy. This is very straightforward. It basically shows you all objects found inside of your scene. So currently our scene is empty except for a camera, which is created by default. And as you can see, the main camera is listed right here. I'll now head up here to this create button, left click on it, and you'll see that there's a bunch of things I can add to my scene. I'll create a basic particle system, for example, and you'll see that it pops up inside of my scene and is of course listed in the hierarchy. Now you can rename stuff in the hierarchy. Just left click on whatever object you wish to rename, and note that doing so selects the object, which you can then move around and stuff, something we'll see in future videos. Anyway, once the object's selected, left click on it again, and you'll be able to change its name. You can also hold down the left mouse button over an object's name to drag it around the hierarchy, which can come in handy when you're trying to stay organized with scenes filled with objects. And over here we have the inspector, which is another crucial part of the Unity game engine. Here you'll usually find detailed information about each object in your scene, or a file inside of your project window, or a certain animation or script. So for example, I'll left click on my camera in the hierarchy to select it, and you'll see tons of stuff appearing inside of the inspector. Now, a lot of this information isn't for you to worry about just yet. For now, it's important that you simply understand that the inspector holds info/settings about objects or files which you can then tweak. For example, you can also change the name of objects up here, change the position, rotation, and scale of an object here, and so much more. Lastly, before wrapping up this video, I wanted to point out that you can open or close particular windows very easily. For example, let's say I wanted to close the hierarchy. I can do so by clicking on this little icon and choosing Close Tab. And there we go, the hierarchy is gone. To bring it back in, I can head over to Windows, and here you'll find a long list of all the different windows found inside of Unity. The hierarchy window is found inside of the general window types, for example. So I'll left click on it to open it up again. And there we go, that was our first look at what Unity is mainly made up of. Of course, there are a bunch more useful windows we'll take a more detailed look at later on in the course, such as the console, animator, and asset store. But for now, great job for having watched right up until the end. I hope you're getting really excited to start making awesome things. Of course, we still have loads of basics to cover first, such as learning how to make objects, navigate the scene view, and move, rotate, and scale objects using the 3 manipulation tools, which is exactly what we'll do in the next video. So see you then.